Hey everybody, welcome back to a video. In this video, we're going to be learning about creating and deleting a file. So before going into the video, I would appreciate you guys liking and subscribing the video and feel free to comment. So let's go into the topic. So first, let's see how do you create a file. So to create a file, you have to use any one of these modes. So if you don't know what are these modes, you can go check out my read or write file video in which I explain about these modes so that you can understand what am I saying here. So these are the three modes we're going to use. So if you check that video, you would have learned the W and the A mode. So these basically, I'm gonna overview of those. So basically, W is used for overwriting, which can create a file and write the text. But how is this used for creating a file, right? So basically it is used for overwriting, as I said in that video. But actually, if you give a file which does not exist, it's gonna create the file, and if you have something like f.write or something, it's gonna write the text what you give, else it's not gonna write anything. And this is a new mode which we're gonna learn today, and I'd say this is a pretty efficient one to learn. And this is the X mode, which is used for creating a file, and it raises an error if the file does not if the file exists. So basically it is used for creating a file and raises an error if the file exists. And this is the A mode, which is used to append text, as I said in that video. But this also creates a file and appends text if you have the f.write method inside it. So that's how this thing is used. Now let's see an example using creating and deleting a file. So first we're gonna use just this file handling.py to create the file. So first, as I said, you don't have to import anything for creating, but you have to import something for deleting. So we're gonna see that in a second. So first, let's see how do you create the file. So first, I have to have my variable right there, and let me open. So now I'm gonna give a file that does not exist. So let me show you my files. So I have these files, these are like 7 files, I guess. So I'm gonna create a file that does not have this name. So let me give as, so I don't have, let me take temp.txt because I don't have anything called temp. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna use one of those modes, as I said, W, X, or A. I'm gonna use W, and now that's how you do it. So if I run this, it's gonna create a new file, and it's not gonna print us anything. And let me see, where is the temp? As you see, the temp is created, and now that's how you create the file. Now, even as I said, you can even use any mode. So let me delete that real quick. I deleted that, and now let's see using the X mode. So let me use X, and now I can even create another file. So let me run this. It should have created a file. Let me see. As you see, temp.txt is created. So that's how this creating works, and the same with appending. So, and now it's gonna append some text because this is already created. So let me rename this to temp1. And now if I run this, we just have to wait for a second. As you see, temp1.txt is created. So that's how you create files, and creating files is a lot important because if you want to create a file real or so quickly, and you don't have to do anything, you just basically have to do one of these modes and also write the file name. And now let's say you created the file, and now let's say you want to delete the file. So for that we have to import, as I said. So import OS. So OS, the module is used to perform operations on files. So you're gonna see me most of the time using OS because that is the predefined package or module by Python, so that you can use to delete and perform operations on the file. So there are two types of files, right? So there are two types, a file and a folder. So to delete a file, you have to use os.remove and the file name. So if you have a variable that already has the file name, you can just use that variable. Instead, if you just want to write the file name, you can just use the file name in a string. So that's how this deleting a file works. And to delete a folder, which is basically in your computer, you can also delete something like in the website, but you don't have to. But to delete a folder inside your computer, instead of going just go deleting it, you can just use in a variable which is going to store the path of the folder. So that's how you can store and delete it. And note, you can only delete an empty folder. So if you have a folder that is not empty, it's not gonna work. So that's how this thing will work. And now let's see an example using it. So first, as I said, I already have a file folder. So these are the paths. I have a folder called my folder, and this is a folder not empty, and this is my text.txt, which is basically in a text format, and that's just a file. So this is a file, this is a folder, and this is a folder. So first, let's see how do you delete a file. So let me copy that real quick, and now let me use it in there. So first, I have to import OS, as I said, and now you have to use a code. So first, let me delete it. So first, I have to do os.remove, because that is my folder, which file which I'm removing, right? So for that, I have to just write in a string just like that. So you can remove just like that, but let's say you don't want to give all the name right there. So instead you could just have a variable which defines path. You can even have any name. I'm gonna take a path because that's gonna make more sense. And what is this here? Because we didn't give any quote, so let me give that quote, and now it's gonna work back again. So first we have to delete this part which I created. So let me delete this part, and now I have to just access the part name. So we have to have the part name not in a string. So let me give the path. So that's how this thing is. So now we deleted the file. So but to see if it works or not, we have to see something like my file detection video, in which I'm gonna explain of how do you detect the files and how do you see if the file exists or what type of the file is it. But instead I'm gonna give a basic overview. So basically, let me use an if statement saying if os.path.exists. So basically, this is gonna check if the thing exists or not. And now I just have to have the path name. So path, and now I have to just type print. It's gonna print yes. So basically, if os.path exists, it's gonna return true, and then it's gonna print us yes. So let's say if it's not, so it's gonna print no. So that's what it no. And now it's gonna, if I run this, it's gonna print us no. As you see, it's print us no. Why? Because the file we already deleted here. And now if I check in my folder, it's not gonna be there, and I cannot show you that. So now let's see an example using the folder. So let me delete this part. So, and you don't even have to worry about os top path exists. If you want, you can go check out the video. So let me see. So first I have to have something like my folder, which I have right here, and then this is not an empty folder, so I can use it. If it's not empty, you cannot. And also you have to have a backslashes, double backslashes, because Python only accepts double backslashes. If you have one, it's not gonna work. So that's how this thing works. And now it still doesn't work. If I run this, it's gonna print us an error. Why? Because we have to use rmdir. So to delete a folder, you have to use os.rmdir. So that's how you delete a folder. So let me change this to os.remove to rmdir. So that's how this thing will work. And now if I run this, it's gonna work back again. As you see, it's deleted, and it's gonna say no. So that's how this thing works. And now let's see the not empty folder. So let me have the not empty folder, which is this one, and I'm gonna copy this text, and now I'm gonna paste it right here. And then guess what it's gonna print us? It's gonna give us an error because we have this is as not empty, because we already have something text in it. So let me show you what is happening. So always here the directory is not empty. So the directory is basically kind of like the folder, and as you see, it's saying is not empty because I have a text document inside it. So that's why it said it's not empty. So that's why this thing does not work, and it raises an error. So instead you could even use a try block so that you cannot so that the thing does not interrupt the normal flow of the program. So that's how the deleting a file works. So let's say you want to delete a file inside this Explorer, which is inside the website which I use. And let's say you want to delete the delete.txt, which I made for this video purpose. As you see, delete.txt. And so for that, you can even do the same thing what I did. So you can just make it to delete.txt, but instead you can just delete this part. So because you don't need that. And as I said, this is my file, so remove, and then I'm gonna change this to delete.txt. So delete.txt. So that's what I wanted, right? And now I have to of course change this one too. So if I want to check this if exists or not, so delete.txt, and then it's gonna print us no because we deleted over here. And now if I run this, guess what it's gonna print us? It's gonna print us no. And as you see, the delete.txt is something like kind of like a red line. So let me see. As you see, I don't even have something like delete.txt, so let me quit that. As you see, that's how you delete a file inside this program. And also you can even delete a folder, like mine is Python tutorial folder. Even you can delete that, but you can just have to specify in a variable. And I don't want to do it right now because I don't want to delete that folder. You can do it anytime you want. So that's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.